Hello, what's going on everybody? Greedy Biker here, and today I just wanted to make a simple, easy video for anyone that is looking to buy a second-hand motorcycle that is, probably just getting into it and just wants something to run around, but something that's not been beaten up, preferably something that's been well looked after. So I just want to go over a few little things in my eye, and hopefully in other people's eyes, that would show and determine a bike that has been looked after, and the difference between not looked after, whether it's had any accidents, dropped or anything such as that. Now I want to try and get this done because I'm in a business car park, shall we say. But it's little simple things. First thing of all that I would normally look for would be on the bar end weights. You just want to, normally obviously you go and have a look at the bike before you'd even do it, and try and get a test ride at least on a bike. If you go into a dealer it's a lot easier, but the main things I would look for would be the bar ends, making sure that they've got no scuffs on it and that the lacquer is lovely and smooth, and not someone that's tried to put muck off, that little black stuff that you can rub into it and try and get rid of scuffs and things like that. So you just want to have a little feel, make sure that everything's still smoothed out and the lacquer is still intact on it and it's not been bodged to try and sort itself out. That would determine whether it's been dropped straight away. Would always be the bar ends. Now the other thing I would look at as well while you're within that area would be whether, I would question why they'd have aftermarket levers, and if they had the stock ones. If they had the stock ones, you'd want to examine them properly and thoroughly, because also they could determine whether the bike's been down or dropped or caught on a wall or anything like that. Same goes for the mirrors. You want to check on the mirrors, top and bottom, corners, back and sides. Mainly on the edges normally, be about around here, and on the back you'd want to check whether someone's been trying to wheel it out their garage and they've caught it on the brick wall or any type of wall, because these are the two main components that are sticking out. If you look at them, obviously the mirror sticks out the most, but they're the main things that are going to go and hit the ground first, so you always want to examine them straight away before you do anything. The next things would be, on a bike like this, you would want to check on the indicators. Now when I say about the bar ends and all that, you want to check both sides, because they're going to drop it on either side. So don't just check one side and go, oh, that's fine. But same goes for the indicators. You want to check the indicators and make sure, have a little feel around. Make sure there's no scuffs, scratches or anything. Even on the front, you want to check the front of them as well. You want to check all the way around it and just make sure they're all cozy and cushy and they're not got any scuffs or scratches or anything like that. Because these things are the main components that are going to hit the ground first, I want to look at the things that stick out the most, because obviously they are going to be the things that hit the ground first. Other things you want to look at are the brake and clutch levers. 9 times out of 10, the first thing that's going to bend or break or scuff or anything like that is going to be your brake or clutch lever, and obviously your footrest itself. You crash it down, you bin it, at even any speed, 10 miles an hour, they're going to bend. You're going to see bend marks if someone's tried to bend it back, or if the bloke's generally honest, he will tell you that yes, he has scratched it, which would be nice if they told you, but they don't always tell you, so it's best to examine yourself. Same goes for this. You'd want to check the rear indicators as well, and any type of panels around the back, and make sure they've got no scuffs or scratches or anything of such. And I think on this bike you would also want to check, if they had bobbins, you'd want to check the bobbins, but inspect the rear pegs as well, make sure they've not been down or scuffed or anything of the sort. But yeah, so you'd want to check the bobbins as well, because there are things that stick out, especially the hero peg piece on this and on these. If they are scratched, you want to ask him why. 9 times out of 10 he's probably going to say that it's scraped and going around a corner or anything like that, in which case, if it has an aftermarket exhaust, sometimes they can protrude further than the hero pegs themselves, so if that is true, you want to check the exhaust, unless obviously he has stuck the stock one on. Other little things that you want to check, make sure that nothing's actually been bodged. If he's put the original parts back on, make sure that wires are correctly cut and things like that, but that's a little bit hard to determine themselves. If you want to get really nitty and pitty, you want to check around on the speedometer. People like these, where they have the keys here, 9 times out of 10 they're going to be slapping them, and things like that. As you can see, mine's got a few scratches, but you don't want to put the key in and out, make sure that it fits in there freely and that it doesn't bodge on anything, or it doesn't catch on anything, sorry. And you just want to make sure that the key turns nice and freely, you know. And check everything on the speedometer as well. You want to make sure that everything works, you know. You're telling you how hot the engine is and your miles per gallon and all that. You'd want to check everything, check all the buttons work, you know, go through it all. You can see certain little bits like how the trip is. You just reset it, make sure the button works. Other little things, obviously this is things that you would check outside of a dealer. If you were going to somebody else, like an independent seller, you'd want to check. Easiest way would be to put the hazards on, make sure that all the lights are working. They're not got what do you call it? If they've got LED lights on, you want to make sure that they've actually changed the relay on them. So you want to check that they've got no stupid 1 second blinker on them, and that they blink within the correct milliseconds. And just make sure that all the lights work. You know, normally you put it against the wall, but you can see that the bike is off, so that won't work. But you just want to check that everything works. You'd want to get on the bike and check that the clutch is in the correct position. Put this on the max 1, which would be 6, and make sure that it pulls even in the 6th setting to make sure that everything is okay and things like that. And you know, to determine the fact that it isn't going not to work and that the clutch needs changing and all that crap. Make sure the brakes work and stuff like that. But there's not really a lot more that I could really say for you guys to check. But it's just a little guide on what you would use to check a second-hand bike, I guess, and just make sure that everything is all cozy and works, because that is the goal at the end of the day. So yeah, not really much more to do, guys. I just wanted to give you a quick video to show you a brief, you know, what you would check when you're looking at a second-hand bike. You can go more in depth with it, but they're the main things that I would look at. The main things that I did look at on this one to make sure that everything was okay, but I did buy it from a dealer, so a lot of that was checked already. Fire pictures and things like that. But yeah, just little things you want to check. So if it helps you out, guys, then great. If it didn't, and I'm sorry, but hopefully it gives you some sort of insight on what to look for when purchasing a second-hand motorcycle. And it goes for cars as well, you know, little things like that. Obviously you can't check bar ends on cars, but you know, mirrors, etc., things like that. Little things to check. So yeah, I'll leave it there, guys, and hopefully it helped you, and I'll catch you all in my next video. See you later.